Every week, fans all alike turn on their TV most Sundays and flip to Fox, where they might be greeted by either the pre-race ceremonies or the pre-race show, in the Fox Sports Hub. But in case you didn't know, the premier series of the NASCAR Cup Series isn't the only series under the umbrella of NASCAR. In fact, it's not even the most exciting series under the umbrella of NASCAR. Keyword most. If you're a diehard NASCAR fan seeking to see what NASCAR's youth can bring to the table, you might watch the Xfinity Series, which usually airs on cable during Saturday afternoons. This is a series where there's always action, where you can't look at 2, 3, or even 4 cars without missing some incredible battle that only people in person would either see or miss. Where the championship battle is anyone's game, and the race wins is anybody's prize. Same can be said for the Truck Series, except it's twice as more competitive. You have guys who literally build their trucks in some garage out in the middle of nowhere, put their names on the entry list, ask Marcus Lemonis on Twitter if he could fund you, and competing against guys who have double the amount of cash you do. Here, it doesn't matter if you are part of a renowned team, or if you're a renowned driver, or if you have the most wins in a season. Everyone is equal. But further down is series full of a tumultuous history that for many people is dead, such as a K&N series, which is not really the main point of this video. The main point is the 4th tier series of NASCAR, the Arca Menards Series. The Arca Menards Series traces its roots to its debut back in 1953, and throughout NASCAR's history, it's acted as the 3rd tier league to get into the now Xfinity Series and inevitably the Cup Series, or at least it was for 30 years. But 30 years later, when the Truck Series was introduced in 1995, it became known as the 4th tier series, or at least that's how I like to look at it. The 4th tier series of NASCAR. Arca into Trucks, Trucks into Xfinity, Xfinity into Cup. But people ignored the Truck Series, and in the later 2000s and early 2010s, for some people, the series was dead. And that aged just about as well as you could imagine. When the Truck Series shifted its aero package into the current one, and its engine package to allow teams to be closer together, it created the racing we see now. The only thing that was probably missed was the sound of the truck. I mean, here's a comparison between the 2009 Daytona truck race opening and this year's.
What you want to do. Anything will work.
One of the greatest feelings when you come to a racetrack is when all of the engines are fired up and the green flag flies in the air. It's about to take place on the 2009 season. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is underway.
Great crowd, cheer them off, send them on their way. That feeling never gets old, does it, Phil? Hearing those motors fire up and take the green flag at Daytona.
They were dead even entering turn number 1. Now, Colin Brown has pulled out just a little bit ahead of the outside truck of Matt Crafton.
One of the things that Series Director Wayne Auten emphasized to all the drivers in the driver meeting was the bumpers don't match up. You cannot bump draft in the Truck Series.
But you want to really bad. You just think, I just need to give him a little push and we'll be on around this guy. But it just doesn't work well, Phil.
Yeah. He says, I'm not going to bump him. I'm just going to ease against him. And you end up bumping him. We had that happen in practice a couple days ago.
Across
the green, back out. Couple of ThorSport teammates at the point was Sauter and his teammate in the 98 truck, Grant Enfinger, right behind him.
You saw John Hunter Nemechek get in the back with the truck ahead of him, Chase Purdy, and that got that truck really out of shape. What are we going to see as these guys push? That was Lassard in the 24, excuse me.
The outside line headed up by Sheldon Creed.
You know, one of the things that we saw last night is that bottom lane, Michael, seems to be...
So what happened to the Arca Menards Series? Well, in 2018, it underwent changes to officially make it into a NASCAR feeder league, although that pretty much did nothing, as it was obvious for like 50 years. And oh yeah, they changed the package from later Gen 4 cars to old Gen 6 cars, and it absolutely killed the series. Now, if you say you're going to watch the Arca series, you're probably going to get a lot of mixed emotions within the NASCAR community. Why are you watching the series? Do you actually find enjoyment in the Arca Menards Series? So alright, I've told you how dead the series is, but how can you actually fix it? Well, here's my take on 5 things that could be helped to potentially fix the Arca Menards Series. I'm not going to say it's wholesale changes, and I'm not going to completely convince you that this is going to be the entirety of what's going to save the Arca Menards Series. In my opinion, it's probably too far down to even save the series. But here's my take. At number 5, we have axe the K&N series and make 2 Arca series. Honestly, I don't think people care about the fact that an even lower series than the already crippled Arca series has 2 different leagues. I think if you do that for Arca, it would create a mixture of excitement and curiosity on what those leagues might actually consist of. Both would still be under the Arca Menards banner, but with different title sponsors individually, and both would run different races all over the calendar, not just local tracks on the east or west coasts. I'll explain more at number 4. For number 4, I have one Arca series Gen 4 cars with competitive teams, and the other a Gen 5 spec series with lower end teams. That way both get good exposure. So the first Arca Menards branch would consist of Gen 4 cars, because those cars were amazing back when they ran, and still keeping them around, well, it wouldn't bring back much nostalgia from the Gen 4 era, it would still keep its memories floating around, and maybe create more just for the Arca series. Because I mean, think about it, fans like myself who never saw the Gen 4 cars crave for the racing back then, and we know we're never gonna truly get it back, but just a taste would suffice. I know traditionalists and purists are going to say you can't evoke memories from the past. What's in the past stays there. To that I say, to what alternative would you look for? That's the first argument. Keep the giant Gen 6 cars and continue to have painstakingly arduous and frustrating races. And for the second branch, bring back the COT era of 2011 to 2012. Again, I know there are going to be people angry for trying to bring back something in the past, but if you keep what's in the past there, how do you know it will stick around for the future? And in all honesty, it won't. And for the business side of things, it would boost ratings a whole lot. Die-hard fans only watch lower tier series. Die-hard fans love the Gen 4, and a few kind of want to see the Gen 5 back. This is probably the best marriage one could ask for, if you ask me. And in terms of competitive teams for the Gen 4 series, I think that the competitive teams and the lower end teams, there's a wide gap between both of them. And it's honestly too much if you ask me. Lower end teams only compete about 1 to 5 races a season. There's only about 3 teams in a single year that actually compete for points. And that's kind of frustrating if you ask me. The whole point of the season is to win the championship. And if the championship is really decided quite rather arbitrarily, I don't think that's really that good. If you get people watching the Gen 4 series with competitive teams and people like themselves, it would truly see who's the best out of the best. And if you watch the lower end teams in the Gen 5 series, it would truly see who's the best out of the worst. At number 3, I just have to say, please market it better. They do an incredible job marketing the season opener Daytona for the Arca series, or at least they do a better job of acknowledging the fact that the Arca series even exists. But if that could last for the entire year and combine it with the branches I discussed previously, it would only add fuel to the fire. And hey, you could potentially reach out to the casual fan who could be hypnotized into liking NASCAR. You never know. For number 2, I have Bring It Closer to the Weekends. Arca is typically aired on Thursday nights, and if there's no truck racing, it's aired on Friday nights, like this past week. I think the best place to put it is between the truck race and the Xfinity race. Put it on Saturday mornings or in the noon, if the Xfinity race is much later at least. I think the Goldilocks time would probably be 1 Eastern time. It would be a tremendous lifesaver, and if the Xfinity series is at the same venue as the Arca series, it would build hype. Number 1 is better the booth. For the record, I'll just say putting Jamie Little and Phil Parsons in the booth was great. And for the Fox side of things, this would probably be the best booth to have. You could also bring in guest drivers, not from Cup, but from Xfinity and trucks. Because I mean, some of them are fresh out of Arca, so it'd be a win-win. And of course, you need a crew chief role. So why not put Chad Knaus? I mean, he has affiliations with Fox, right? And for NBC, 4 words. Bring back Kyle Petty. And alongside him, why not Dale Jarrett? You slap Steve Letarte and Dale Jr. in the booth and this is about as close to perfect as one could get. So do you think the Arca series needs all of these changes? Or is it a bit excessive? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments below, and till next time, this has been the news. I'll see ya.